What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 3 picks right and got 21 right, which is a 90% win rate for the second day in a row. And yes, you heard that right, 90% win rate. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 90% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, with more bets, receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $100 just yesterday. Another member who won $450 for the 4th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So first pick we're talking about is Cade Cunningham, and this one is for 10.5 assists and this one is for less. Now look at Cade Cunningham, we've actually seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Denver Nuggets. Now when we look at the Denver Nuggets, it is going to be an exciting game, but we also do see that the Denver Nuggets do rank 30th when it comes to assists allowed. However, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when it comes to Denver Nuggets, they do a really good job at restricting assists to the guard position, which is what Cade Cunningham is. So we are expecting for that to come in this situation here. We are expecting a lot of the defensive pressure to be on Cade Cunningham. He is a star of this Detroit team, and Denver also like to have defensive strategies that restrict the star players as much as possible. So for that reason, we definitely do like the under for a situation like this. Now Cade Cunningham over the last 5 games has also only averaged 8.6. So yes, he has had some games where he has gone on the over, but you know, some of those games he only made it over by 1 to 1.5 assists. So we definitely see him in a tougher matchup like Denver, who do a great job against guards. We may see Cade Cunningham struggle when it comes to getting a usage rate out there in the assist department. Now Denver Nuggets are also a very slow paced team, and although Detroit aren't the fastest pace as well, Denver do a really good job at slowing down faster paced teams compared to them. So we definitely see that happening in this game. We could see Cade not get the same amount of volume and same amount of usage rate that we usually see from him, due to the fact that when it comes to Cade, you know, he is liking to play a little bit more faster pace than Denver. So since he is going to be in a slower pace game, it could lead to less volume from him. So Cade Cunningham, 10.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Zach Collins. So, as we all know, Zach Collins does play for Chicago Bulls, has been playing great. This one is for 15.5 points for the points department, and this one is for less. Now we look at Zach Collins, we've actually seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Toronto Raptors. Now we look at the Toronto Raptors, we do see Toronto do rank 24th when it comes to points allowed. So this is a bit of an interesting one because they do rank 24th. However, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that Toronto Raptors do a really good job at restricting points, rebounds, and also assists to the big man position. Now, obviously, we are definitely just focusing on points in this one, but I thought I'd just mention that, you know, Toronto do a great job against bigs, so we definitely see that being the case. We could see Collins not get the same amount of usage rate that he usually sees, and for that reason, we are liking the under for this situation here. On top of that, Collins' usage rate isn't usually this high. You know, as we see over the last 2 games, he has had a couple of outlier games, getting 19 and 21 points, but we usually see him on the regular get below this. So we think those 2 outlier games, yes, he did have quite a hot hand. It's pushed him on the over, you know, and it has definitely pushed this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. As you do see, his average over the last 5 is still only 11. So we are still liking that since it is significantly below his line of points. And we definitely see that being a big case coming into this game. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this one. When we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. Now, Chicago and Toronto, both pretty slow paced teams. And for that reason, we aren't going to see that much usage rate and that much volume from Zach Collins as we usually see. As in some of the games where he did actually score quite a lot more, it was against a little bit more faster paced team. So we are expecting a little bit of a slower paced game. And for that reason, we are sticking to the under. So Zach Collins, 15.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Andrew Nembhard. So Andrew Nembhard, great player as we all know for the Indiana Pacers, and this one is actually a combo one. So this one's a combo one for points and rebounds for 14.5, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Andrew Nembhard. We've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. So he has gone on the under multiple times, and they do face off against none other than the Miami Heat. Now when we look at Miami Heat, we see that they rank 7th when it comes to points allowed. And on top of that, when we look at rebounds allowed, Miami Heat do rank a little bit worse as they rank 25th. Now, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that Nembhard definitely has a little bit of a higher usage rate in the points department. But, you know, since Miami do a great job at restricting that, we definitely see that not being able to carry him on this line, which is why we are liking the under for this situation here. Now, when it comes to Andrew Nembhard as well, he tends to play, you know, kind of like shooting guard, small forward position. Sometimes power forward, but mainly that shooting guard or small forward. And Miami actually do a really good job at restricting, you know, points and rebounds to his position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this game. Now, when it comes to someone like Andrew Nembhard as well, what we also do see is that the matchup against Miami are a very slow paced team. Indiana are a little bit faster pace. But what we have seen with Miami time and time again is that they do a great job at slowing down, you know, faster paced teams. So for that reason, we could see Nembhard and also the rest of the Indiana Pacers team slow down to the usage rate and the pace of Miami. And for that reason, we could see less volume from Andrew as well. Now, Andrew also hasn't really had the greatest time, you know, when it comes to points and rebounds. We've seen him go on the under consistently. His average over the last 5 is 11.6, so significantly below this line. So for that reason, all signs really do point towards the under for this one. And that's why we are sticking to the under for this one. So Andrew Nembhard, 14.5 points and rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Nikola Jokic. Now, as you all know, Nikola Jokic, great player, and this one is a fantastic one because this one is actually for 10.5 assists for less. So as you see, Nikola Jokic has actually gone on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than Detroit Pistons. Now we look at Detroit Pistons, we see that they rank 8th when it comes to assists allowed, and that is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at someone like Jokic, yes, he is a great player, and yes, he does have a high usage rate, but his assist rate has definitely fallen quite a bit. Now, obviously, Nikola Jokic still does get assists, but compared to this line, we definitely see him more likely going the under, especially against a tough defensive team like Detroit Pistons. Now, Detroit also do not only a great job at restricting assists, but also do a great job at restricting assists to the center position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this game. His average over the last 5, yes, it is 10.4, but it was because of an outlier game he did have against Indiana, where it has pushed this line a little bit too high, and now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under here. Now we look at someone like Nikola Jokic, what we also do see is that when it comes to this Denver and Detroit matchup, like we mentioned earlier, we aren't expecting that a lot amount of pace in this game, and for that reason, we could see a slower pace game, slower volume, which means to less assist opportunities for Nikola Jokic. So all around, we are expecting that from Nikola Jokic, and when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have in favor for the under as well, so it works out in our favor there. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under. So Nikola Jokic, 10.5 assists for less, I think is a great pick. So getting to the next pick, we're going to be talking about none other than Luguentz Dort. Now, as we all know, Dort is a great player. This one is actually for points and rebounds, so a combo one for 12.5, and this one is for less. Now look at Luguentz Dort. We've actually seen him go on the under in actually, 4 out of the last 5 games, which is interesting to see. Now, they do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the Atlanta Hawks. Now, when we look at the matchup against Atlanta Hawks, what we do see is that first, when it comes to points allowed, we do see Atlanta Hawks ranked 27th. And then when it comes to also rebounds allowed, we also do see that, Atlanta Hawks rank a little bit better, but not really that much better at 19th. So a little bit of an interesting one there. When it comes to Luguentz Dort, yes, he is a fantastic player, but the reason why we do like the under for this situation is that Atlanta actually do a really good job at restricting points and rebounds to the guard position, which is what Dort is. So although as a team, Atlanta Hawks don't do a great job, when you look at more of a specific and you actually see, the per position basis compared for Atlanta, we actually do see him being able to go on the under in this situation here. Now his average over the last 5 is also 8.8, and you have seen the times that he has gone on the under, it's significantly on the under as well. Dort doesn't really have the highest usage rate. His usage rate is definitely very inconsistent due to the fact that he is mainly a defender. So, rebounds, yes, he does get boards here and there, but points is definitely not really his forte. There are a lot of other scores in that Oklahoma City team. I think Dort only scores when necessary or if he's absolutely wide open. So, he did have a game against Minnesota where he had 17 combo for points and rebs. We think that this pushed this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under there. So this one's a bit of a misconceiving one, so that's why we are sticking to the under for this one, especially for someone like Dort who doesn't really have the highest usage rate, in both of these departments, or not high enough to reach this line. So on top of that, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well, and that always helps us confirm with these picks. So for that reason, Luguentz Dort, 12.5 points and rebs for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about a great player from actually, Portland, and that is Deni Avdija. So Deni Avdija, great player as we all know, and this one is a points one for 16.5, and this one is for less. Now look at Deni Avdija. We've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Brooklyn Nets. Now, although Brooklyn Nets aren't the greatest team, we actually do see that Brooklyn Nets do rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. So when it comes to Brooklyn Nets, although they aren't really the best team, they do actually rank very high at restricting points, and that is a big reason why we do like the under for someone like Deni. Now, Deni is a great scorer, but his average over the last 5 has been actually 16, slightly below this line. And when you look at, some of the games that he has had recently, he had one outlier game against LA Lakers. Like I always mentioned with some of these picks, it's brought this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. Now, both Portland and Brooklyn are pretty decent pace teams. We aren't really expecting anything crazy when it comes to pace, but I think overall, the fact that Brooklyn do a great job at restricting points, but also do a great job at restricting points to the forward position, I see those two things being such a big reason why we are sticking to the under for a situation like this. Deni Avdija as well, when you also look further, you also do see that his usage rate has definitely fallen throughout the season a little bit. It has been a little bit more inconsistent as of recent, and for that reason, we are sticking to the under. And the fact that Portland are looking to just tank for the rest of the season, most likely, we may not see the same amount of usage rate that we usually see from someone like him.